heritage. I would like to inform you that our today's meeting is being recorded because some of our partners can't participate because of time difference, if you are not against it. So I would like, first of all, to make a little speech before starting. As you know, the cultural heritage of Azerbaijan is as rich as its history. Azerbaijan is located in a historical geographical region dating back thousands of years before century, and the existence of different people and ethnic groups, religious affiliations, and also ethnic and geographical settlements formed against the conflicts throughout history have played a great role in enriching our cultural heritage. And for all years of independence period, the state has always done purposeful work to protect, to restore, and promote the cultural heritage in the international area. And in recent years, the scale of this events has expanded, and it's a great honor that MIRAS has played a great role in these activities. And I hope, I'm sure that our today's meeting will be very useful, very fruitful for our purposes, will be very interesting for you. That's why I don't want to lose more time and to present to you Mr. Luigi Scrinzi. Most of you know Mr. Scrinzi, but I should present and give a brief information. As you know, Scrinzi is a professor at Milan Technical University, the best friend of Azerbaijan cultural heritage and MIRAS, representative of MIRAS in Italy. He has a wide practice in Aksu at the National Historic Museum of Azerbaijan, Gobustan Reserve, Baskal Reserve, and at other places of Azerbaijan in the sphere of restoration and conservation. Also, he has organized different seminars in the sphere. Of course, his activities are not limited only by these ones, but as we have a lack of time, I want just immediately to give floor to Mr. Scrinzi, and in order to let him to share his practice, to give information, and I think that it will be very interesting, and both for us and for our international partners. Mr. Scrinzi, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Malika. Thank you very much. But so first of all, I'm sorry for my bad English, you know, but you helped me, maybe, I hope.
Not problem, good.
I saw Adra Yurdu for the first time in the late autumn 2005. An Italian engineer, that Farid Snow, invited me in a preliminary survey to consider the possibility of an assignment as artistic director for the restoration and refurbishment of the exhibition room of National Historical Museum of Baku. I had no knowledge or a serious background on the cultural geography of so distant country with a strange name, Azerbaijan. What is Azerbaijan? I searched for the most probable etymology among uncertain sources. Maybe Od is fire, maybe El is warrior or guardian, maybe in Turkish language. Bey is lord, Chan is soul, and therefore the soul of the noble warriors of sacred fire. And thus spoke Zarathustra again, like Genius Loci of Odlar Jord. Genius Loci in Latin is spirit of the place. Fire always fires. Mitraic fire from the ground, or better, land of fire. Odlar Jord. Azerbaijan to me was just the good smell of oil, gasoline, naphtha, even if Herodotus hastily described it as bad smelly liquid. For me, Baku was only mysterious oil, balons, that like metronome mark the time of the incessant suck, or profile of scattered goats grazing a land as dry as it is rich in black gold. Or adventure frontier of James Bond around the planet of Marco Polo, when spoke of an oil that came out of deep rock, petro oil. Deep rock, petro oil. And also from the sea, with such abundance that they can load 100 ships at a time. This is Marco Polo, right? I promised myself to fill my gap before and during the responsible mission that from the very first sight I decided to accept. I began by reading a romantic book, Alienino, of a local writer, and I was not wrong. Then, gently between restoration site work and philological research, I lowered myself into the Astrakhan lamb hats in that elegant gray, like the Azerbaijan caviar of the Volga belugas, and the ultra-millenary story told and contained in those rare, precious, and delicious pearls. And late in the evening, after the work, remember, Farids, of the 100 and more operators I had to direct every day, I went back to the prodigal domestic warmth of the winter nights of 2006. Amidst the aromas of dill and the black chai and the vine leaves with grano saraceno, buckwheat, alternated with borscht, sweetened by an azira smetana. I remember hakma, and don't remember.
Hama.
Or kebab. Eh?
Hama.
Hama. Or kebab of exquisite golden turmeric rice with apricot blonde, as beautiful as the cheeks of Azerbaijanian girls celebrated from Hikmet poesies. Güzel, like the Yekti of Nizami Gangevi, and like Garayev beautiful music. Buon appetito, mio caro fratello. Nusholsum, Manim Aziz Arkadash. Who knows? I was wondering if Arkadash has the same etymology of dash, dovru, the Paleolithic first time, the first stone, and the dash stomach are tied together in the sympathy of a nush also. However, I was always encouraged by the repeated discoveries that aletheia, in Greek, the sacredness of truth, buried in the oblivion of history, give you in every odyssey of monumental conservative restoration. To those who respectfully await the right moment, wherever it reveals itself, to become recognized, to make oneself known again, how it was and how it is. I will never forget the street of the ancient city and the jumps on the improvised fire of Nowruz Mubarak. Its green feminine. What?
No problem.
Its green feminine sprouts, which recalled for me the young eve of the Azig cave, illuminated by the tribal semicircular bonfire, like the Neolithics said, that a very young Faris Khalili, my Virgilio guide in the hell of ignorance, my ignorance, that I manifest of the temporal and cultural horizon of the Warrior East, the Kafkas sacred mountain, the Promethean place of the original fire, where it all began, with the light of reason infused in the naked monkey. And again, Aksu Mustafa Khan walled citadel that I have seen discovered day by day. Baskal, nice ancient village, medieval junction on the Silk Road, back key city of the enchanting singing blows of the Mayakovsky wind that penetrates between the draft of Soviet threshold and through the inaccurate windows. Gobustan and Jingirdag, holy place of all time and creed, meet place of the stone of the first time and of the Ouroboros, the eternal return of the sacred place of the journey and the caravan in caravanserai that have become trendy restaurant that spread the incomparable music of Sultan Ajbeyev with people singing It Urer Caravan Kechar. The dog barks, but the caravan goes. Azerbaijan, root of the beginning and the exodus of the Homo species, and its history engraved everywhere in the rocks and inside the cyclopean uterus of the clay sepulchres and antelitteram youth roulotte with wheels in the Bronze Age, like Faritz showed me. Late Bronze Age. Azerbaijan have wheel. I thank those who organized this meeting. First of all, Professor Faritz, who, a dear and generous friend of all time, expressly invited me to be part of the speakers. Academic personalities and young Erasmus have the privilege before and after me to speak at this PICASP Consortium meeting on a Europe experience in the restoration and conservation of cultural heritage in Azerbaijan. MIRAS&YOCOCU practice, presence that testify to the choice of openness to the world and the concrete desire for confrontation between different sensibilities and cultures, the sincere willingness to dialogue of the ancient country that MIRAS has always represented. There are choices that show a lungimiranza, a far-sightedness in an age crossed by tension, and in part of the world, the Caspian Caucasus region also often characterized by fragile balance, if not by situation of real crisis. Within the limited framework of my competence, I am honored to have this meeting and to be able to continue the direct dialogue with you and with young Erasmus students from here and beyond the Caucasus. The future of Azerbaijan, average more or less 29 years age, and Europe, more or less 44-year age, largely reside in the land, in the hands of young people, especially cultured youth people like your called as you will be to determine the future of your countries and their international relation, starting from good relation with the geographically close nation, such as those of the greater Mediterranean area, to which Azerbaijan turns loyally and with serious attention in more recent years, and first of all to Italy with an alterated friendship. In Gobustan, as you know, there is the easternmost of the Roman inscription that have survived to the present day. And at the end of the 1st century AD, the 12 legions, so-called Fulminata, was in these lands, in support of the kingdom of Caucasian Albania, with which Rome and the political and the commercial relation. This is also advised by the numerous archaeological finds that have brought to light in the Azerbaijan territory coins and artifacts dating back to various Roman emperors. Relation between these lands and Italy have never been interrupted throughout the Middle Age and the early modern age. Like many men of commerce and business of every era, Marco Polo skids this land on his journey to China, and he tells that in this part, there is a fountain of oil that flow with great abundance, so much so that 100 ships can be loaded at a time. It is not oil to be used for seasoning food, but good for to burn and anoint the camels. For this oil, people come from far away, and for the whole district only that oil burns and burns. This Marco Polo. Recently, the National Academy of Sciences in Azerbaijan returned manuscripts that testify to the contest between the different dynasties that reigned in this region and the Italian state. This age-old good proximity reached a real turning point in the second half of the 19th century, when the chain of extractive process project Azerbaijan into the great game of trade and war politics. That between our two peoples is an elective affinity that has its roots in history and which Azerbaijan has allowed to revive vigorously with independence. Today, the bridge between the Mediterranean and the Caspian is more important than ever. And it is precisely looking to the future that Italy addresses the Azerbaijan people as a crucial partner and a qualifying element of the great Mediterranean, in which our country is a protagonist in the broad spectrum of our bilateral relation. I conclude by stating that part of the words I expressed are taken, even literally, from a speech by our President of the Republic, Sergio Mattarella, 18 July 2018 at the Azerbaijan Diplomatic Academy in Baku, entitled Azerbaijan and Italy, the deep roots of an evolving friendship and the future of our collaboration. I recognize myself in them, and for this reason, I deliberately intertwined them with my autograph without making any distinction. Finally, I cannot overlook the fact that just 2 years ago, on 9 July 2019, the President of the European Council, Donald Tusk, had a meeting with the President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, Ilham Aliyev, in which, among other things, he said, "Thank you, dear President, for your warm welcome and hospitality. Azerbaijan is unique. You combine tradition and modernity. You look both, etc. And also, finally, later today, I will have the privilege to visit Gobustan, with the petroglyph and the inscription by Roman legionnaire are testament to the significant place Azerbaijan has had in Europe for millennia. Humbled by this time horizon, I look forward to us developing our partnership in the years to come. Well, I had the honor and the great joy of seeing, indeed of meeting all this and even more, because the ancient really honored me by granting the confidence to take on its heritage, its precious historical and cultural heritage, of its monuments for you to take proper care of. What did I wear of mine? Only thirst for knowledge, like Odysseus, every Odysseus, who going by virtues and knowledge, with a little ability of attentive vision and intelligence, or by binding together, I was able to recognize that Lucio, Massimo, the Gente Giulia, centurion of the 12 legion, struck down still the light, still the fire, as in the libel seeds, who from the end of on the first century of the first millennium, Domitian ruled. At the dawn of the third millennium, the president still talk about themselves of the Italian Republic and the European Council as a sign of renewed hope of the primacy of the culture of peoples in the darkness of their discords. For the rest, a handful of my Italian collaborators and the Azerbaijan workers who I had the honor of successfully training in industrial school work site did everything. An aphorism coined for me and for my manual and intellectual work by my dear friend, philosopher Luciano Zamperini reads, in the horizon of meaning, that history discloses vision is intelligence. It follows trace, reconstructs paths as a prelude to the truth it aims at. History interacts with the sacred to which it delivers image and memory, matter and spirit. To visit is to look. In the vision that knows, finally the sacred appears. More than aphorism, it is for me a compelling and infallible syllogism. It has been and is the very useful handbook of every archaeological exploration adventure and every experience in the restoration and conservation of your cultural heritage. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Luigi, for your interesting speech. I would like to ask our participants if they have questions, and also to welcome Ms. Olivia Menozzi if she has something to add or comments.
No, very poetic view. I thank our colleague to join us in the PICASP project. And sorry to have been late, but the link had problems for me and my colleagues here. So thank you very much. A very nice view and general background of this splendid land that we have to know directly. And it will be a pleasure if a colleague as Luigi Scrinzi will join us in the field work and illustrate all he was saying today with this poetic view. Thank you.
Thank you, Oliva. And thank you for your beautiful English.
Maybe we can speak Italian to each other next time.
Yes, maybe it's better for me.
Thanks a lot.
For my heart.
Does anyone have questions to Mr. Scrinzi? Mr. Luigi, you know how important and valuable for us you are. I again say that I hope you will soon in Azerbaijan and we will meet and dance together. Thank
I
you.
am Mustafa Oglu.
Now, if no one,
Mustafa Oğluyam, Mustafa Oğlu.
if no one have questions, I would like to give floor to Mr. Andrea Mattia. If he's here. No, Mr. Andrea. Has he joined?
Hi, Farid. Hi, all. I'm not Andrea. I'm Laura. But I don't know if Andrea have some problem to connection. And I'm a vice president of YOCOCU team.
Okay.
And we are pleasure to stay not there, but here to explain the many things we have do with MIRAS and with Farid. In this case, we stay in near Rome in the excavation site. It's Villa La Noce. It's a Roman villa in Italy. And today we want to explain what we have do in a team with MIRAS with a little example, because we stay here in the excavation with another teams. It's cultural teams. It's an archaeologist teams, and we stay all together in a campaign, excavation campaign, and this is Francesco Borsari. It's a president of Cultra.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the excavation site of Campo La Noce. This is the second year of our excavation, actually. We had the chance to speak last year at the same event. And for those who don't remember, we were digging basically some storage area that today are covered by soil again in order to preserve the structures. So we uncovered basically one of the corners of this huge villa that extends all around us for 4,000 square meters. We, as the last year, assembled an international mission, and together with YOCOCU, we are proceeding in the investigation on the more inner rooms. So we are moving from the productive area of this Roman villa to the side for the hotium, so where the families that owned the place live. We are actually excavating part of a big atrium rusticum, which was kind of a courtyard, even to keep animals, but also to have some garden place for enjoying the outside. And we are, in the meantime, investigating some thermal areas that we need to understand better. We found, as it's typical, we found some late empire, late antique barriers on the upper level, and we are moving further in order to explore what's beneath that. Our team is currently at work, and also we were able to join together restorers and conservators with the archaeologists in order to do a more precise job. So they can connect to each other, they can speak to each other, and they can move along the consolidation of walls and the excavation together.
Okay, and this is a site with many different guys of Cultra teams and the YOCOCU team joined together to the conservation, excavation and conservation restoration of stone and many different materials. And this collaboration is very nice because the restorers, it's possible to stay all together with the archaeologists to make a work together. In this case, we have the archaeologists and restorer stay together to work, but I don't know if it's possible, you see. Okay, and also it's an anthropologist and the photographer stay all together. And to explain this job, I present Valeria Brunori here. And she explained the work all together with the restorer and archaeologist.
So we thought it would be useful to combine the work of both of all professional profiles in order to make sure that all of the figures understand the needs of each other's work. So the archaeologist can communicate to the restorer the type of work they do by exposing the stratigraphies, and the restorer can explain the need of proceeding with a certain methodology on the artifacts that are uncovered by accompanying the excavation work with temporary facing and protection of artifacts, which will facilitate the recovery and future conservation. In this case, we have the anthropologist who is working to expose a burial, recently uncovered burial, together with a photographer who is assisting with providing documentation, which is essential both for the report and for the conservation work. A good documentation is a very important support for the conservation work. This situation is repeated in different situations. So also where we have mortars and plasters, ceramic and walls, which we are at the same time consolidating and preparing for the future conservation when the excavation will be closed.
Vi vogliamo far vedere anche la parte. We want to see you also the restoration intervention inside the excavation site. In this case, we have two participants of this course. It's Jose, it's a Canarian restorer, and also Alessandra, it's an Italian restorer. He's a student in this moment. And they stay in the face to the growing of some stone in different part of different wall. And this is a good conservation intervention because the finish of this year of excavation, all of this site go on the will be covered.
So yes, the work is a preventive conservation work, which prepares the walls to be preserved for the future campaign. So we are stabilizing the mortar, consolidating the mortar, and stabilizing some elements of the wall with the temporary support mortar that will help preserve as many elements as possible of the structures. So this is a fundamental job that will help preserving what is found for the future excavation campaigns.
Have you any question?
Okay.
Please, I don't understand. Maybe I don't receive your voice. In quale posto siete e qual è l'orizzonte storico a cui fate riferimento? In which place and which...
Quale posto siete in quale orizzonte storico in italiano?
Okay, so we are along the river Tiber, basically, that used to flow like 100 meters from us. This huge villa is part of a larger predium, which was basically a big farm complex with many buildings all around. We are so in a villa that must have been owned by a senator maybe, or somebody very important. We are now dating the villa based just on the techniques of the wall, and it is around the 2nd and the 1st century before Christ. This was a large productive area. This whole Middle Tiber Valley was a large productive area because the Tiber used to be like an agway in antiquity. So they will be able to reach Rome in half a day with all the wine and the oil and the weeds. Also from this area, there is another villa, which is currently being on investigation by the same team as Cultra, and is a little bit later. So we are trying to cross-reference all the data we have for the both sides. And you have to consider that also in the late antiquity, from this site comes a fistula from Theodatus, one of the Ostrogoth emperors from the late antique period. So this whole property must have been translated from the Senate class at a certain point to the imperial one, and then to the barbaric emperors.
Grazie.
You're welcome.
Farid. Hi, Farid.
Good morning. We've been expecting you. You said you will come this year, but we don't see you here now.
Yes. And what you think about Azerbaijan is green conservation, also Yokoku, and also your works in Azerbaijan. You have a possibility to explain something about this for our team here.
Yes, this is a little example of the same work we have do in Azerbaijan, because when we stayed in Azerbaijan, we have do a course to explain the intervention method and the first aid to made on the materials, and also we had restored a mausoleum, and the team in this case is complete with the archaeologist and the restorer of MIRAS, and also with Yokoku. And this is a very nice project we have in the last year we have do together. And we hope it's possible to repeat this possibility in the next year, and also bring the Cultra team to stay together all in Azerbaijan and in Aksu City.
Okay, thank you.
If Farid, can you listen to me?
Yes, yes. How are you, Andrea?
Welcome, Andrea.
Hi, thanks. Today I have several technology problems for PC, for my connection to the web. I'm so sorry. Sorry to be late here in this conference. Thanks to Farid, to other organizers for the possibility to explain our activity through the connection with the Campola and the other activity that we realize in Azerbaijan for several times. I want just to add to the Laura speech the aim of the activity of YOCOCU and MIRAS in Azerbaijan, the aim of this collaboration. For our, it's very important to have a real integration between international professional and Azerbaijan professional. You have the culture when you realize this integration. You have a culture when you can realize a real improvement of the management, of the conservation, of the archaeological side in Azerbaijan, of the monument in Azerbaijan. So I wanted to remember to you, we started this collaboration in 10 years ago. Okay. We started before with the YOCOCU conference in Azerbaijan, and then we realized a professional course in archaeological Aldom City. Then we started several activities. Focus on the improvement of the skills of the Azerbaijan professional. But also we start with MIRAS several activities to cooperate, to realize decision marking. Implementation, the awareness of the citizen and of the Azerbaijan citizen to the cultural heritage. So we realize many activities in situ, online, and in this activity, the beautiful aspect is the collaboration, the interaction, the curiosity of the Azerbaijan professional to have more, to learn an international way to approach to the cultural heritage. So thanks to MIRAS for this collaboration, and the big activity of this collaboration is was the conservation of the mausoleum of Sheikh near Arkansas, and there we work together, Italian restoration and Azerbaijan restoration. It was a real exchange of materials. Some materials were very innovative for Azerbaijan restoration. Some approach, some uses about the conservation of this monument was totally non in the Azerbaijan professional. This was for the planning, for the professional upgrade in the conservation of cultural heritage. So thanks, very thanks for this collaboration.
Thank you very much, Andrea, for joining us, for your information, and also thank you to our YOCOCU friends for live broadcasting from the excavation site. I hope once we'll also, as MIRAS is planning, we'll also to realize such kind of event, maybe a meeting or seminar with real activities, with the participation of students at the excavation site. We are planning something, but I don't know will we be able to realize it. I hope will. And now if someone has question. Miss Olivia, do you have question or comment?
No question, just congratulations for the collaboration. And it's nice to see that there are mixed teams working together. So a proposal, within PICASP project, we can publish the work that YOCOCU and also that the colleague Luigi Scrinzi is doing with MIRAS, and could be a publication organized by MIRAS and YOCOCU and all of you inside PICASP. So PICASP can publish and pay for the publication. If you want, we can speak in future with MIRAS and with Farid and with Malika and Andrea and Luigi to think about a publication in this sense. Also in Italian, Azerbaijani and English, because I think that Azerbaijan has got a lot of to show, but the real problem is often the language. So think if he can be interested, think for you, and we could organize something similar, which is in the aim of the project.
Okay, thank you very much.
It's a beautiful idea for me.
Yes, and Andrea, sorry to use your first name. I'll put my mail in the chat. So feel free to write, and we can organize together with the MIRAS something nice to show the antiquities and also the great job that Azerbaijan and Italy together, MIRAS, YOCOCU, and the Italian colleagues are doing in such a splendid country. And I hope it could be possible also concerning Kazakhstan and Russia, Southern Russia as well in future.
Yes, for me, the focus to be this collaboration, Azerbaijan, Italian, in the several activity, YOCOCU, MIRAS, but also other, no problem. But Italiani, focus between the activity Italy and Azerbaijan on cultural heritage conservation and valorization. For me, it's a beautiful way to tell this collaboration.
Okay, thank you, Andrea, and also thank you, Laura and Miss Olivia. Is very good idea about publication, and I will ask to Luigi and also to Andrea send us some informations, their information, and also we will prepare. And we have possibility to good publication, yes, in Azerbaijani, Italian, and English. It will be very good information to European professionals. Yes, we have one book, maybe you saw in internet, Cambridge Publishing Scholars Publishing House with YOCOCU, YOCOCU 2014 conference in Aksu, and this publication have in internet and is for professionals. Also, they have about Azerbaijan information. It's good idea, Oliver, under PICASP project, and we have possibility to publish one maybe book or booklet about this. It's good idea. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Miss Olivia. We can do everything which will serve the purposes of our project. So we are ready. And now, as you know, we have State Service for Protection, Development and Restoration of Cultural Heritage under the Minister of Culture, which is main body in the sphere. And if I am not mistaken, the deputy head of the State Service, Mr. Aghajavid Ramazanov, is participating. And I want to give floor to him. Mr. Ramazanov, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Madam Huseinova, for the floor. First of all, I would like to also greet all participants of our today meeting and wish fruitful work during this meeting. And also, I'd like to express my thanks for the invitation to take part at this event. Of course, it's a good forum for the experience, for the exchange of views and the exchange of experience in the such importance issues of the preservation and protection of cultural heritage. So I'd like to briefly overview about the cultural properties in the liberated areas of the Republic of Azerbaijan. And I'd like to start with my speech. So, as you know, we become a witness of great change in our region upon the completion of 44 days work, which was concluded by a trilateral statement of the President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, President of the Russian Federation, and Prime Minister of the Republic of Armenia. The conflict between Armenia and Azerbaijan has left behind. Now we are at the new stage of development in our region, which is aimed to prosperity. Azerbaijan since enters into post-conflict recovery and rehabilitation phase of its liberated territories from almost 30 years lasting occupation. According to the preliminary estimation, there are more than 2,600 historical and cultural monuments in the liberated territories of Azerbaijan. 606 out of this, 706 out of these monuments are registered. Among them, 11 monuments of world significance, including 6 architectural and 5 archaeological objects, 240 monuments of national importance, including 109 architectural and 121 archaeological objects, and 455 monuments of local significance, including the 393 architectural and 22 archaeological monuments, 23 gardens, parks, and monumental statues, and 17 applied art objects. In accordance with the President's decree, the process of inventorying of the cultural property in the liberated territories is currently conducted by the Ministry of Culture of the Republic of Azerbaijan. During the initial monitoring held on the liberated territories, 331 out of 706 registered monuments and 864 cultural properties, including 462 libraries, 348 cultural houses and clubs, 20 museums, 26 children's music schools, 1 cinema, 2 theaters, 2 galleries, and 3 more clubs were examined. It was defined that overwhelming majority of more than 1,022 monuments, cultural properties were demolished and misappropriated and became a subject of vandalism. So now I would like to share with you some photos which were taken during our monitoring mission to the liberated territories. I tried to do it with the share screen. Can you, Ms. Zainaba, allow to me to share my screen?
Yes, of course, just a minute.
Yes.
It's okay.
Okay, yes. So do you see?
Yes.
Okay. So I'd like to start with show the photos. Here you can see that the Hajj Al Akbar Mosque in the Fizuli city dated 17th century with the inventory number 4208. So you can see that the before and after pictures. So this is the mosque also in the Fizuli district in the Horadiz village, dated 1889, was the inventory number. This is again the mosque in the Fizuli district, Ahmedli village. This again the mosque. Here you can see that the current the situation with this the building of the mosque. Here again the before after of the mosque in Gubarlu district in Mamar village, dated the 30th century. This is again the mosque in the Jabrail district in Dashkesan village. So now we come up to Aldom City, which was famous at the time with its largest museum galleries and exhibition halls, that became the Ghost City, and the Aldom also they called as the Hiroshima of Caucasus. So here you can see that the picture of the before and after of the Aldom. So this is the picture of the before after of the city. This is a mosque in the Aldom City. Here you can see that the before and after, and you can see that it used to be as a pigsty by the occupants. This is a mosque in the Giasli village. This is a mosque. This is a Hanovan tomb. This is a ruin of this tomb. You can see. So this is again the hammam in the Fizuli city. It's again you can see that with the remain of that. So this is a building of the Fizuli city executive power. You can see that the before and after. This is a statue of the Fizuli of our great poet. Also, this is again the before and after. You can see that this statue completely demolished, destroyed. This is the mosque of in the Fizuli district. So now I'd like to show the some maison and family houses of the famous Azerbaijani origin people of Karabakh and other former occupied territories have also been target of destruction. So now this is a house of Khurshudbani Natavan, the great poetess of Azerbaijan. which is located in the Shusha city. This is a Khan Palace, it's also in the Shusha city. You can see that the ruin of this palace. This is a Maison of Haji Gullars, also in the Shusha city. So now we come up to some archaeological excavation conducted by the Armenia during the occupation. So now this is the Azır cave. Here you can see that the illegal work conducted. This is a Shahpulak castle in the vicinity of Aldom City. It's also the illegal excavation conducted there. This is a cemetery. So, and do you hear me? Okay.
Yes, yes.
So, as you saw from these pictures, the mosque, madrasa, breach, and temples located in the liberated territories were not only destroyed, but in many cases were vandalized, which is insulting the national feelings and moral values of our people. The vandalism of occupying power was manifested not only towards the Islamic and also the Christian and historical and religious monuments. There's many temples belonging to the Caucasian Albania, including the monasteries of Kudavang and Ganjasar in the Kelbajar district, were desecrated and misappropriated. Armenia illegally exported, appropriated, and sold museum exhibit manuscripts, carpets, and historical artifacts from the territories during the occupation. Many valuable Karabakh carpets were exported to Armenia and sold abroad. So Armenia also conducted illegal excavation, as you see that from the picture, in the vicinity of Aldom City and in the Azır cave, which is an archaeological monument of world significance. All valuable funds derived from these areas were illegally exported also to Armenia. As a result of the military aggression and occupation by Armenia, which lasted for almost 30 years, the unique cultural heritage of Azerbaijan in these territories was seriously damaged. All of this action perpetrated by Armenia are gross violation of international humanitarian law, in particular the Hague Convention for the protection of cultural property in the event of armed conflict of 1954, and two of its protocol, as well as the UNESCO Convention on the means of prohibiting and preventing the illicit import, export, and transfer of ownership of cultural property of 1970. Unprecedented magnitude of destruction of historical and cultural heritage, as well as public and private property, critical civilian infrastructure, including educational and medical facilities and environment in the liberated territories, place a huge task ahead of the government of Azerbaijan in terms of rehabilitation and reconstruction of these territories. The government of Azerbaijan has already initiated practical steps in order to ensure post-conflict rehabilitation and reconstruction, including the preservation of cultural properties, which serve as a confidence-building measure aimed at healing the wounds of conflict. The massive mine contamination of these territories also seriously impedes the realization of rehabilitation and reconstruction plans that the government of Azerbaijan has embarked on. Most importantly, it affects the realization of an alienable right of the hundreds of thousands of internally displaced persons to return to their homes in safety and dignity. Families dispersed from their homes for nearly 30 years cannot safely return until these mines are cleared. Unfortunately, Armenia refused to release information on the location of all plant mines, which is a breach of international humanitarian law. Eventually, we hope that Armenia give us maps of plant mines as it demands the international law. We're confident, in conclusion, I would like to say that we're confident we'll successfully manage with the outstanding ensure at the restoration of the destroyed cities and village. We will make every effort to restore all the destroyed cultural heritage, regardless of its origin, because this heritage embodies the cultural diversity of our country that we are proud of. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ramazanov. Just a minute. It is very awful and very sad that. Sorry, do you hear me?
Yes, yes.
It's very sad that we have suffered the greatest blow as a result of occupation, but I think that we are strong country, strong nation, and will solve all of our problems, will save our, protect our cultural heritage forever. And I think that your activity as a state service in this sphere is very valuable, and I wish you patience and power in your activities. If someone has question to Mr. Ramazanov. If not, at the end, I will give again floor for questions and comments. Now, I would like to ask the representatives of our reserves. If I am not mistaken, some reserves will make a speech. First, I would like to give the floor to Mr. Paris Khalili. Mr. Khalili, please.
Now I will start. I want to find my, okay, now. Okay. I want to present some slides about our reserve, medieval Aksu city, and this is new reserve of new reserve, and this city's remains are located near the village of Ülgüc, Asuri region, and is our excavation, from our excavation, some parts. The city was founded by Nadir Shah. He was founder of Afsharid dynasty. This is a famous Shah. The city covers an area of 40 hectares. Around the city, there was a water canal and for defense, and a mud brick wall. As the city is a Muslim city, it was built in the direction of Mecca. All roads in the city are paved with stone. Water lines have been laid to all the estates of the city. A sewer line has been laid from the city bus. The city's handicraft workshops, residential and private houses, Juma Mosque, ice store, I store, fort walls, main square, and etc. was found. The city was an important trade center in the Caucasus in the 18th century. This is Holland ducats we found from the Aksu city. Artifacts showing relations with China, Great Britain, Germany, Netherlands, Russia, and Iran were found here. These glass bottles is from London. They produce in London. And also MIRAS has been studying the medieval Aksu city since 2010. 1.5 hectares have been excavated and studied in 3 years. This is some artifacts from the conservation work was carried out in parallel with the excavation. The excavation sites are covered with metal structures. This is the first and largest covered archaeological park in Azerbaijan. The medieval Aksu city was also a school for Azerbaijan archaeologists and restorers. At present, the medieval Aksu city is a state historical and cultural reserve. Thank you. Melike Hanım, mənim ama digər bizim qoruqlardan sadəcə qoşulublar, dinləyirlər də, çıxışlar olmayacaq, yəni bunu qeyd etmək istədim.
Siz onları siz qeyd eləyin, yoxsa?
Hə, bəli.
Okay.
Adlarını qeyd eləyək.
Adlarını qeyd eləyək.
In our state service, under our state service, we have other reserves, like in Gobustan and Gobustan, also Pir-Hüseyin Khanegahı, Pir-Hüseyin Monastery, and also we have Ganja city and Shamkir city, also Cheshikchidagh State Reserve, Zagatala Reserve, and Ilsu Reserve, and in Baku, near Baku, also we have this, which in Guba. In Guba, we have genocide memorial complex. Also Chirakkala and Shabran Reserve. And this is all part of Azerbaijan. These reserves what we have. And I think in our next meetings, we have possibility to explain that reserves, artifacts, and also they have possibility to explain their reserves in our meetings, maybe. Okay, thank you. My little speech and about our Aksu city. If you have some questions, I have possibility to explain more. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Khalili, for your presentation, for your speech. Does anyone have any question or comment? I would like to give floor to our participants.
Hi, Maria Cristina Mancini.
Hi, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your beautiful presentation. And I would ask you, you showed metal plaques in the presentation, in your presentation, Faris.
Yes.
What are?
Which?
This one, this.
Yes.
Before this.
Yes, yes.
Yes, this one.
This is coins. This is copper flues.
Yeah.
We found in our excavation site, and coins is from Iran, also cities of Azerbaijan, and also from Georgia and Russia. We found also we have from Germany, from Nuremberg, some coins, copper coins, and this artifact is coins, and I think they have numismats, say us. They have some unica coins because they show us this city was one trade centers in Caucasus, big trade center, because in that period Azerbaijan is was export Rubia tinctorium L. This is Marina is in English. Boyaotu neydi İngilizce? Yani yedim çıktı. Madde. No. İngilizcesi yadıma çıktı. Marina neydi?
Ne demek istediniz?
Nece?
Ne demek istediniz?
Marina'nın İngilizcesi neydi? Boyaotu'nun? Mother'dı. Mother, yes. Azerbaijan was export from here. This like pigments from here, and many European traders import from here this pigments. For what we found also here many European coins, like Germany and others, and also Holland, ducats.
Yeah, I have seen.
Thank you.
Very interesting coins. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
What is splendid is that your project of the reserve was from the excavation to the restoration to the valorization. And this is very rare. So good, well done. Very, very good of MIRAS to have finished the long process. You know, sometimes as archaeologists, we start excavations and we don't arrive to the valorization. So that's a very good goal, good result.
Yes. We used like Çatalhöyük ideas. This is for us impressive project is Çatalhöyük, and I think we do it. And now our excavation site is a state reserve, and this is good for us. Scientific innovative project like this. Thank you.
Faris, you have always very interesting presentation with splendid photos to show us and also to invite us virtually to the sites. So that's fantastic. Well done.
Yes, thank you.
If anyone wants to make a speech or to give a question, can get the floor. What do you think, Olivia? Shall we continue or summarize?
Fioretti, bellino.
It's up to you. If you have someone else giving a speech or lecture, so we can continue. They are free to speak. Otherwise, we can summarize and try to imagine next meeting also.
Yes, according the program is finished, but if someone wants to make a speech, we can give floor. Or maybe they have comments or questions.
Münevver Hanım var diye sen orada.
Yes, I have no questions, but I have many thankful to for all the speakers, that they give us many good information. And in this meeting about MIRAS, and I'm very satisfied for getting for much information. Thank you also to Mr. Luis that he gave great information, more information about our country and also about our people. Thank you for your more about to our culture, and thanks for future of Azerbaijan and our satisfying relations, our Azerbaijan and Italy. Thank you also for your value for what you have made in our country. Thank you.
Do you hear me? Maybe I have some problems.
No, we can hear you.
Yes.
Do you hear me?
Yes. Thank you, Münevver.
Not at all.
I have some problems with network. Now, I would like to...
Çelazi diye sen demeyiz.
Bende nasıl problem var? Kimi dediniz Fariz Müəllim?
Francesca Chelazi, huh? Chelazi. Yes. Chelazi.
Grazie. I'm sorry I don't have my camera because I have a new laptop and it doesn't have a webcam. Anyway.
Okay, no problem.
Francesca is part of the KT team because we invited her. She's an expert of WebGIS, and we would like then in next meeting with Farid and with MIRAS in general, speak about the possibility to do together a WebGIS which can be useful for cultural tourism. So not only the scientific approach, but also something which can be shareable in the web and easy to bring people to Azerbaijan, to Caspian context in general.
Yes, our perception is that WebGIS, as well as digital content that make people familiar with things by experiencing by themselves a region, customizing their or approach, way of perceiving tourism, might be a powerful instrument. So if agreed by people on the territory, by the community itself, in a perspective that represents what people want to express in a region, a culture, an identity, an history, it's a super important strategy beyond the old traditional tools that are at our disposal. It doesn't replace things that already exist. It's a way to make people experiencing a place using digital technologies, which is something that everyone can use. Every one of us has a smartphone. Every one of us has the power to use the site and the personal experience in tracing a touristic path, but even a process of knowledge. And there are many examples from Europe, as well as Western Asia, South America, which demonstrate that if a WebGIS and a digital support is promoted in agreement with specialists, tourists, tourism professionals, and people from the territory, it works.
It can be with MIRAS a specific meeting about how can we cooperate in this sense, and how can we use Azerbaijan as a pilot case, because you know already we can draw the WebGIS, and Francesca is very helpful and supporting this sort of project, and then you can fill the forms which can attract people for the Azerbaijan. Then we export the Azerbaijan pilot project to the other Caspian partners of PICASP. What do you think?
Okay. We wait. Yes, okay. Good idea.
Thanks.
I will wait about this, some information, more information about this, and I think we have possibility to discuss this with our group, also MIRAS group, and maybe we have a possibility to with you do this. Yes, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And what about others? It is very honorable for us that we successfully organized this meeting, and I would like to thank to all our participants. Thank you for joining us. How many participants? 42 now, but it was 50%. Yes, it is good. I hope our meeting was very fruitful for our purposes. Thank you all of you. Thank all of you, the representatives of state service, the representatives of our reserves, our partners, and other participants. And if you have not anything to add, or shall we continue, or Olivia, it's up to you.
If they are too shy to ask, don't worry, we can stop. It's important to your results was very good, so 50 people is wonderful. So we should thank again both of you of MIRAS in general, but also our Italian colleagues, also the Azerbaijani colleagues speaking. It has been a very fruitful beginning. Maybe Faris, you can explain about next meetings about Azerbaijan, because you've got a very good list of meetings in the further months. So maybe it will be nice if you just say when are they going to be, but especially which kind of topic are going to be.
Yes, 19 July we will we have meeting about rock carving in Azerbaijan, and we have 2 professors in Azerbaijan, and also we ask to other agency in Azerbaijan, tourism agency, and also they have some reserves, state reserves, and we will invite them. Also, they will explain their reserves because in Azerbaijan have a Ministry of Culture, and separately we have Azerbaijan State Tourism Agency, and in Ministry of Culture, under Ministry of Culture, have some reserves, and also have some reserves under State Tourism Agency. And we will present rock carving in Azerbaijan, in Golestan, in Karabakh, in Nakhchivan, and also in Russia, and also in Kazakhstan. We will compare our rock carving, and also second part of this meeting, reserves of agency, state agency, they will present their reserves, and this it will be in 19 July, and we will send our invitation for you and others, our partners, and I think our this is our starting meeting, and after in July, in August we have not any meeting, but in September we have 2 other meetings, and we will send also information about these meetings. This is our next meeting in 19 July, and I think we will be good exploration for our European and Russian and also Kazakhstan partners. Thank you.
Thank you. Good idea to have different meetings, because otherwise it would have been too much altogether. In this way, step by step, we see all you want to present in a very calm way, and we can also discuss about it. Thank you, and also thanks for the organization.
Thank you, Olivia. Thank all of you, Mr. Luigi Scorinzi, Andrea, Mattia, our YOCOCU friends, other participants. I think that now we shall summarize, finish our meeting, and at our next meeting, I think that it will be much more interesting. And I am waiting for all of you to join us at the meeting, at our next meeting. Thank you very much.
Grazie da parte mia. Sì. Grazie da parte mia, soprattutto a voi tutti, e in particolare a Oliva o a Olivia.
Oliva, senza la I.
Allora,
bravo.
A Oliva, che è il frutto dell'albero della pace per noi. è l'albero di Minerva, la dea della conoscenza. Con questo suo bell'inglese, con questo suo fluente inglese, lei ha riscattato tutti noi italiani poveri di linguaggi esteri. Spero che tradurrà le mie parole con la sua simpatia. E io voglio dire a tutti voi che ho sentito con grande piacere, che ho in qualche modo avuto anche la possibilità di comprendere, avendo mia moglie a fianco che me lo traduce, l'inglese, di essere meravigliato di questo paese così colto. Ho sentito Agaya Vid Ramazanov con questo inglese anche suo, pertinente, fluente, pronto in tutte le fasi a commentare le immagini. Credo di aver capito che si trattasse dell'area ora riconquistata. Ho visto in social i grandi disastri che si sono prodotti soprattutto nell'area, diciamo così, dell'odio religioso. Io mi auguro che Oliva sia capace di portare il nostro messaggio di pace a tutti voi. È una cosa a cui ci tengo, anche perché vorrò in qualche modo essere presente nella ricostruzione e nella progettazione della conservazione di quei luoghi disastrati dall'odio ingiustificato, forse, tra i popoli. E io credo che solo la pace possa essere giustificabile. Grazie a tutti. Un bacio a tutti. Salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. I understand you, Luigi.
Yeah, I think most of you understand Italian very well because you worked with Luigi and you worked with Andrea. That's why you seems to understand so much. Next meeting will be in Italian, inshallah.
No problem.
No, it's been splendid. I think Luigi is right. Luigi Scrinzi said something very nice. I think peace must be the first step for our project, but in general for cooperation, in general to rewrite the history of collaboration. I hope PICASP can be one of the support, one of the help for this peaceful kind of meetings. And as Luigi said, has been very interesting to see what happens in an area so damaged by the problems that we can see every day. Imagine I'm working in Libya, and for me, Libya is like for Luigi Armenia. I'm working in Libya since 1997. And imagine how I'm suffering to see people fighting, even people from the same country fighting together. I hope peace will help in reconstruct, restore, and obviously cultural heritage must support in the resilience of these splendid countries, because Azerbaijan, as Kazakhstan, as Russia, as the Mediterranean context as well is so nice, and they share these dreadful problems of past wars, past strong events. So let's hope these meetings can cope and can help, can support in find a way for a good resilience. And maybe within the PICASP project, together with the friends, knowing better than me, Azerbaijan, I'm totally ignorant. So I'm enthusiastic for this region. And I hope in the help of Luigi and Andrea, also the recovering of the antiquities in the illicit traffic could be one of the aim which PICASP can help to support and can support in some way.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
thanks all of you. See you in next meeting in the 19th. Salam alaikum.
Thank you for Malika. Malika is a good moderator for today.
She's wonderful, wonderful moderator. Malika, you should be all the moderator of all our meetings, I think.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank all of you. And Mr. Luigi, don't forget about our promise. We will dance in front of Aksu.
I'm ready.
I wish
Not I'm ready, already.
as soon as possible. Thank you all.
Yeah.
Thank all of you. See you at our next meeting.
See you.
See you.
See you.
Bye.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao, ciao, cari, ciao.